Imagine a place where everything revolves around your work and pushes family, hobbies, and health to the fringes. Well, we don't need to imagine because it's called hustle culture.
I'm talking, everybody needs to hear this.
You gotta be the hardest worker in the world.
I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill.
I was right. It's real.
It's really that simple.
Hustle culture is a mindset that encourages hard work, allegedly in the pursuit of glory. ... If you're resting, it's so that you can do slightly better work. If you're drinking coffee, it's to better crush the competition. And if one of your actions resembles laziness, well, get out. You don't have to look far to see that hustle culture is flawed, and while it does seem unbalanced, it does look really, really appealing. It promotes hard work, motivation, and can quickly help you get out of a rut. After all, there are certainly worse things you could be doing, like downing another Mountain Dew. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Jimmy. I subscribed to hustle culture for close to a year, and, well, it nearly ruined my life. In this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 big lessons I learned from hustle culture and what I replaced it with so that I actually got the results that I wanted. But first, here is my story. This is me at 18 years old, loaded with energy and a vigor to dominate the world. Unfortunately, the world turned out to be a little bit bigger than I thought, but more on that later. A normal day looked like this. Wake up at 4 a.m., work out until 5 a.m. while listening to motivational speeches, edit videos for 2 hours, go to work at 7 a.m., rush home at 5 p.m., watch YouTube for inspiration, pull out my camera and find something to make a video about. That usually took me to about 10 p.m. or so. Go to bed around 11 and copy and paste for, I don't know, like a year. Yeah, not exactly like healthy. And the thing is, I truly believed that success was right around the corner. And as it turned out, the only thing right around the corner was burnout. It took about 2 years to get back to anything resembling normal again. During that time, I quit YouTube. I traveled pretty extensively to clear my head, and I got a new job. Coming from that place of complete emotional and mental exhaustion, it really sucked. But because I went through it, now I can share the lessons that I've learned with you guys so that you don't have to go through it, which is, always a plus. Here's the 3 big lessons I learned from hustle culture and what I replaced it with so that I actually got the results that I wanted. Lesson 1, hustle culture worked for my goals then. Herein lies the massive difference between effective work and efficient work. Effective work is where you do things that specifically take you closer to your goals or where you want to be going. And efficient work is simply doing work in a reasonable amount of time, doing it quicker, faster, better. You need both of them to exist and to have a balanced life, but hustle culture focuses a little bit more on just being efficient, just doing a lot of things, and I got a ton of stuff done. I made like 200 or 300 videos in a year, just completely absurd amounts for working a full-time job during that point. But I got so caught up in just doing everything, I never had time to stop and ask if I was doing the right things. And as an 18-year-old just finding his place in the world, I really, really wanted to be a part of something. And hustle culture helped me believe that I was worthy of significance and value because I worked really hard. I deserve to feel this way. And it's actually really, really hard to get out of it because all of my self-worth was tied into this identity of I just work. And like to quit all of that, it's actually harder than you think. Lesson number 2, the world is not that simple. Remember when I said that the world was just, a little bit bigger than I thought? And okay, maybe I should clarify. I'm not sure if this is what hustle culture was trying to communicate to me, but this is definitely what I heard. It simplified the equation for success. It simplified it down into this world of effort equals results equals success in a linear path. And therefore, effort equals success. So it boils it all down and says, well, as long as you just work hard, you will have success. At least that's what I heard. And it's incredibly appealing while at the same time demoralizing. Oh, not experiencing results or success? you must not be obsessed enough. So after, like working my guts out for a while and not seeing any results, I kind of assumed that I wasn't putting enough effort into it. Like the one thing that I was told that I needed, effort, for success, I wasn't giving enough of. So it kind of translated into like, I wasn't enough. Like what is success even in that equation? Like social status or money or like what is that? And yes, I should have known this. But when you hear people over and over and over attributing their success to working hard, and that's it, subconsciously you begin to believe it. And then what I did is I created this illusion of success in the future to back up that belief or to support my efforts now, even though I wasn't seeing results in the present, which is like, I don't know, really dangerous. Because if your present moment isn't good, we can either look to the past or to the future to find something that makes us comfortable to say where we're at. It's like, oh, well, it used to be good, it'll be good again. Or it's like, okay, well, now I'm not, successful or anything, but in the future, I'm gonna be successful. And so then you trust in this equation again of hard work, effort, results, success, and just this big perpetuating cycle. Lesson number 3, by far the hardest lesson I have learned, is that burnout can cause permanent damage. Burnout happens when you have emotional and mental exhaustion from prolonged stress in something that does not line up with your values or your goals. And let's be honest, like this whole hustle culture appeals to people that are probably more on the younger side of things, between 18 and like 30, I would guess. Most people around that age, at least around 18, I would guess, have not taken the time to truly evaluate A, what is most important in my life, and B, what are my goals? Where do I want to be in 10 years? And is this gonna take me there? Like, I know I definitely did not know what my values were then at all. I think more people are really, really close to this hustle culture than they think. But it's really scary because there's a lot of people that have followed this advice and some have gained it all and others were left with absolutely nothing. But guess what? Everybody that it does work for, instantly they have a voice and instantly they have all this credibility. And so they're just like throwing these ideas out. And it's only like been in recent years when everybody else who it didn't work for got to a place where they could actually talk about this. As I said before, hustle culture did not get me the results that I wanted. So I developed 3 rules to filter out what doesn't work for me or what doesn't help me. And if work doesn't fit inside of this, I will pretty much try to avoid it. Replacing hustle culture with these 3 rules. Rule number 1, I must be able to apply systems and productivity. Systems are like programs or strategies that you can put in place to kind of automate the process. So think of it like a big industrial factory. If all of those machines come to a halt and you have to start everything back up and get it all rolling to just do one thing, it really consumes a lot of energy. A system just keeps everything running for you and it does the work so you don't have to start the whole process every single time. Systems are kind of like habits. They remove a lot of that mental load so that you can focus on other things. And the best part is they run without you. Like, how great is that? Fantastic example of this is I don't need to manually post content anymore. Like I can just upload it and just be like, post it now, and now for the next 2 months, and it does it for me. Never have to think about it ever again. That is a system. Productivity, on the other hand, means that I can produce more output for the same level of input. Essentially, I try not to trade my time for money. What I mean by this is like a job where you clock in at 7, clock out at 5, like I did. That is trading your time for money. You have this block of time that is you're giving it to the company. Doesn't matter how much work you do unless you're really bad, then you get fired. Applying productivity to that would be something like clock in at 7, clock out at 1 because I finished all my work. Rule number 2, I must be able to apply pull power. Hustle culture is kind of like this. It's like, okay, you've got this wall of stuff that you're pushing up against, like this big massive wall, and you're pushing against all of it. And if you push long enough and hard enough, eventually you'll break through it and success is on the other side. Yay! It's maybe attainable, but you cannot sustain that. The alternative is to find something bigger than you and something that you care about or are passionate about that is on the other side of that wall or that mountain of stuff that you're trying to do. that pulls you towards it. It illuminates what you need to push against. Like, surprise, you don't have to push against this entire wall of stuff. Okay, I just have to push on this little portion, because once I break through that, then I can push against that and that and that, and that leads you up to where you want to go. It's pulling you in that direction. And the really critical part with this is push power, which is just normal willpower to push against all of that stuff, is finite and it will run out. And pull power requires very, very little willpower. And so it will last a lot longer. It's very, very powerful. Rule number 3 is it must align with my values and goals. Burnout happens when there is prolonged stress that doesn't line up with your values and your goals. Values are just what is most important to me, and goals is where am I going? Where do I want to be? And so usually when something is asking for my attention, my first question is something like, is this taking me in the right direction? And if it won't, the answer is usually no. And this way, the drive is coming from a place of emotional stability versus a place of desperation that's relying on the outcome of success or whatever. And a fantastic example of this that I just came across is Mr. Beast in an interview that I was watching of him. Wildly successful. Over and over and over, his answer to questions of like, why would you do this or why would you do that? And he's just like, because I want to make the best videos that I can. One of his videos, they spent over $500,000 producing it, and they re-edited the story 10 times. And he's like, yeah, we might just throw it out because we don't really like it. Why? And he's like, because it's not the best video that we could make. And everything he does falls into this main channel of content, and all the other aspects are working towards funding that core, like this core of what he is doing. So he will not start something unless it benefits this core or gives to it in some way. Have you ever subscribed to hustle culture or toxic productivity in any way? Like, if you have, I'd be really curious to hear your experience. And the other thing I'd be curious to hear is, what rules do you have in deciding what work to do or not to do? And I'm always really curious to hear how other people find that work-life balance, because that's really, really important.